All right.
Is it here or here?
That's the seat right there. That's the hot seat.
So do we need to get him set up with audio real quick?
Yeah, well, we're gonna have a boom mic.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Already
When
in
we're
front
putting
of
this
us.
together,
Yeah,
don't have a lot of B-roll. Do you have some B-roll?
I do have lots of it. Yeah, you can use it anytime. You can download, and yeah, if you just go to my Vimeo channel, Kevin Hines Story Revealed, you'll have plenty to work with. Yeah.
Kevin Hines Story Rebuild.com.
Yeah, just Vimeo, Vimeo.com, and then type in, when you get there, type in Kevin Hines Story Revealed, or just Kevin Hines Story Revealed on Vimeo, on Google is fine too. Or the YouTube has a bunch of B-roll you can use.
Okay,
You can download that stuff too.
cool. So we're allowed to use.
Anything you want. Yeah, any of it. Yeah.
Awesome. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah. All right, Kevin. Thanks for being with us and agreeing to do this interview.
You know, there's a reason I wear this hat. It's the Deadpool hat from the Deadpool movie, and I wear this hat because of Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds openly talks about his severe anxiety that he has every time he goes into an interview, every time he goes into a set, every time he has a conversation with someone of power. So he sits there and he feels vomitous and he feels nauseous and he feels sick to his stomach, and that's what severe anxiety does. And that anxiety leads to depression, and in Ryan's situation, he's considered suicide. But he stays here and he fights the pain. And that movie, Deadpool, and that character, I've always followed my entire life since its inception by Rob Liefeld in the Marvel Universe, because Deadpool is analogous to pain. And I've been in pain since the day I was born. And that storyline of Deadpool always being in pain, but fighting the pain and surviving the pain, even sometimes when he doesn't want to. And that character always finding a way through the pain to help other people. He's on a hero's journey, you know, and he's, even sometimes though he doesn't feel like he's a hero, he's saving lives. And I look at my life and I think that I may not be on a hero's journey, but I certainly am in a lot of pain a lot of the time mentally, like Ryan Reynolds, like the character Deadpool. And this kind of hat gives me the strength. It's like my cape. You know, it allows me to go out and do the work I do because it gives me. It's like a secret identity. You know, when I look at it, I think of the character, I think of Ryan and his struggles, and I keep moving forward because everybody who goes through pain needs something to look at for inner strength when they feel like they have none. Placed into foster care, ended up luckily adopted by the Hines family and became a Hines. And I grew up in a beautiful home where I had a very traumatic infancy that led me to have serious abandonment issues and an attachment disorder from a very young age. But I got lucky. I grew up in a beautiful home and had a brother and sister from two different families, and we were a beautiful melting pot of a family. And growing up, I really thought that nothing could go south from that situation. I thought that, you know, I'd grow up, I'd get into a good school, I'd go to get that good job my dad's always talking about, and life would be what it was supposed to. And then at 17, all of that kind of crumbled right in front of me because of my brain. I started to develop the very same brain disease both my biological parents had before me, which was back then manic depression, what we today call bipolar disorder. And I started to have, you know, paranoid delusions and hallucinations, auditory and visual, and panic attacks. I started to have heart palpitations, and I'd skyrocket into these euphoric manic highs, and I'd come crashing down into depressions, because once you go up, you got to come down. And when I would crash into depression, I felt like there was this black cloud over my head, raining, hailing, sleeting, and snowing 24 hours a day, and I thought I was the only one. Little did I know there were millions of people around the world just like me who live with the same pain, similar pain, all kinds of brain pain. And that's what I call it. I call it brain pain, because it led me at the young age of 19 to get on a bus and attempt to take my life in a way that is 99% fatal. I attempted to die by my hands off the Golden Gate Bridge. And, you know, if you know the stats, you know that over 2,000 people have died at the Golden Gate Bridge, roughly 99% of the people who have attempted. You know that 38 people in 80 years have survived the fall, and you know that 5 of those 38 get the privilege to stand, walk, and run. So the fact that I get to be here, I get to walk this earth, run, live, exist. In my opinion, seeing what happened there, I got a front row seat into the devastation of a suicide attempt, and so did my family. And it was horrible, and it broke them, and it terrified them. And my father still fears my death by suicide even today. I asked him in our shooting of the film Suicide: The Ripple Effect, do you still worry about me taking my life? He said, Kevin, every time the phone rings. He didn't say when I call him. He said when the phone goes off in his pocket, his first and every thought is his son Kevin alive? And my actions did that. And yes, I attempted off the Golden Gate, and I'm lucky I get to exist. I'm lucky I got to survive that fall where most people have died. And I just figured if I get to live, then I have to try to help other people around the world stay here. I have to try to impart a message of wisdom, hope, healing, and recovery that changes lives, that alters the courses of people's destinies or their fates. And luckily, I've been giving this and sharing this story for the better part of 18 years. I've been living with this disease for, since I was 17. I'm 36 now. A young individual approached me today with a bandana on and said that they were going to take their life today, and now they're not. And that's the kind of reaction we're hoping for, is that transformative vibe that goes inside and makes them a better person for one day. And I don't claim to save lives. I just believe that this story and stories like it, stories of triumph over true adversity, have the effect to help someone, anyone who's going through that pain, recognize their true value. And then they kind of go home where they do an inner dialogue or inner inventory, and they say, I do deserve to be here. I am worthy. I am valuable. I do matter. And they then go home and they do the work to change and save their own life. They just don't know it. So thank you for having me here today. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So talking about what you're just mentioning about, using your experience, using your second chance to save other people, and what you mentioned today, I had no idea, so that's incredible. How do we bottle that? How do we replicate that in our communities so that we can move that forward and not lose momentum from what we're gaining from you today?
We can't lose momentum, and we can't stop here. This is just the beginning. This story is not going to save and change everyone's life. This story is going to affect some kids in a great way, and it's going to affect some kids in a good way, but it's also not going to reach everybody. So one of the things we need to do is take this story, replicate it, video the story, share it with more people, and I want to give you a message today that I am not coming here. I didn't come here today to give you a bunch of rhetoric and then leave you high and dry. I've got resources that I gave your kids today, resources that I want your parents and your teachers to utilize, and I want you to take the message I put up on the screen today, the texting CNQR to 741-741, the crisis text line, allowing us to track after rescues and make sure people are safe still going forward who are in crisis. But also, we have a series called The Art of Wellness on our YouTube. It's youtube.com/Kevin Hines. It's for everyone. They're usable for trainings. They're being used by the military, law enforcement, the FBI, every level of clinician, every scholastic level. They're being used in child to adult psych units. They're 10 steps, 12 videos, 3 minutes each on how to better brain health through common sense tools, co-authored by one of the best suicidologists in the field. So these steps, I video outline 10 common sense tools to better brain health that anyone can utilize to change their lives. So it's called The Art of Wellness. It's yours. Take it, put it in your classrooms, utilize it. It's being used in schools all over the world. It should be used by you guys on a training basis so you can help these kids stay here. I will be sending you The Art of Wellness in its written form and PowerPoint form that you can actually train with, and you can combine the two efforts. I'll be sending you my Parents' Guide to Suicide Prevention, and please take that. Give that to every parent in your district, because it's going to help them reach their children when they feel they can't. And it's going to help their kids who are sitting in denial with that mental pain find a way to open up, be honest about their pain so they can change their lives.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that too.
You bet.
That's incredible. With our healthcare system, Intermountain Healthcare. So we cover the entire state of Utah from the southern end clear up into Idaho. And we're embarking on a journey to incorporate the Zero Suicide program. So I just wanted to get your thoughts and opinions about the program itself, and from your perspective, how do we implement that to really have it take effect and be effective?
The Zero Suicides program is phenomenal. One of my greatest friends, David Covington, was one of the founding members of that effort, and it's now a global movement to reduce suicides by enacting every service member this community has, any community has, and having them learn the traits, signs, tools, and symptoms of the suicidal crisis, and having them understand it from the ground up, and then be able to look for that in other people. And what they're doing with Zero Suicides is having a dentist, a doctor, a lawyer, a family, a friend, a garbage man, anyone, see someone in mental pain, brain pain, and ask the right questions. Are you suicidal? Have you made plans? Do you have a plan to take your life? And not thinking that that question is going to elicit a response of someone then thinking of suicide. As a matter of fact, statistically, when you ask those direct questions to someone in that kind of brain pain, they tell the truth. They tell the truth because you've just given them permission to talk about their pain. But you can't stop there. You have to look at them with kind, compassionate eyes. You have to look at them with a complete lack of judgment. You have to engage them with empathy, not apathy, and say to them, I've got your back. I'm here for you and I care about you. And when you do that, you can help a person who is feeling vulnerable, who's just been by you given permission to talk about their pain, tell the truth. And when they tell the truth, you can't just walk away. You have to sit next to them, put your arm around their shoulder, and say, I'm here for you, and I've got you. And that's what Zero Suicides does. It reaches people at their core level, helping them recognize their true value and allowing them the vulnerability in front of others to get the help they need to stay alive. And the Zero Suicides initiative can help you and your community by enacting every community representative, every filmmaker, every teacher, every staff member, every family member, every friend. Look out for people in pain. And not just look out for people who visibly look like they're in pain, but reaching out to people who look like they're fine, who are holding it together, who are pretending to be well in the face of great mental struggle, and allowing them to be honest about their pain too by engaging them and saying, look, you seem fine, but I know you've been going through these things at home, or I know you've been having these issues in your life, or I'm just very worried about you and I want to make sure you're safe today. Are you having suicidal thoughts? Have you made a plan? And has it ever been a part of your life? Or have you ever self-harmed? Because then you're going to reach people you didn't even know were in trouble. Then you're going to find the need, and the need in your community is large, and you know that, being one of the highest in the county, so the highest rates of suicide in the county. So finding the inner strength as every community member who's not having a hard time mentally to look at the people who may be, and reaching out to them every single day without fail, and asking those direct questions, and utilizing the Zero Suicide Initiative is going to change your community, is going to lead people to hope and help and healing and recovery, you know. And so utilizing these stories of lived experience, utilizing Zero Suicide, and combining the two efforts, taking that art of wellness, you guys are on a roll to helping a lot of kids stay here. From a clinical perspective, teaching our youth and our children, really from the ages of 4th grade, how to better their brain health is really pertinent to keeping them from that acute situation in the hospital. Because the biggest mistake I think this country made, and really the globe actually made, was not educating our children about brain, mind, behavioral, mental, and spiritual health from the time they were 4th grade up. Because once they can comprehend what those things are, they can comprehend how to stop them if it gets bad, right? They can comprehend who to talk to if it gets terrible. They can comprehend why they need to be open about their pain so they're not silencing it so they don't attempt suicide. Yeah. We made a giant mistake in this country by not educating our children, who are smarter than we think they are. The youngest person to die by suicide in America was 4 years of age. 4. Unacceptable. If the youngest person to die by suicide in America was 4, we have to teach our kids from at least 4th grade how to maintain positive mind, brain, behavioral, mental health every day around the world. We have to not be afraid of the word suicide, taking the power away from the word and educating instead of sensationalizing. We have to help people from their core at a very young age recognize their pain, never silence it, so they can always find a way to be here tomorrow and every day after that.